All right, here we go, everyone. It's Dave DeNatale here with Instant Reaction. We've got not only a Cavaliers game to recap, but also an Indians game to recap. A busy night in Cleveland sports, both of them victorious. And that's how you want to start a week, especially if you're the Cavaliers. The final week of the regular season, 2 games to go, now just 1 game to go. And Cavs took care of business tonight in Madison Square Garden. They beat the New York Knicks 123-109. Now, let's take care of a couple of important points from the game. Number 1, the Cavs clinch another Central Division championship. That's 10 in a row, by the way, for LeBron James between his time here with Miami and back here. That's pretty remarkable. But for the Cavs now, it's 4 straight division titles since LeBron has come back to Cleveland. That's certainly something special to feel good about if you're the Cavs. It also, the win clinches no less than the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference heading into the playoffs. It's still possible the Cavs could have the 3rd seed, but we know for sure the Cavs will have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. If the playoffs started right now, it would be the Cavs as the 4 seed against the Indiana Pacers as the 5 seed, a rematch of last year. So certainly nothing we haven't seen before. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. Cavs still with another game against the Knicks on Wednesday. Philadelphia's got to play a pair of games still. Cavs are a half game back. Philly has 2 games to go. We'll see what happens. I mean, this crazy season could topple a bunch of different ways. But what you liked out of the game tonight for the Cavaliers is that they came out early after kind of a first quarter where they were good but not great. It was a 1-point lead for the Cavs after the first quarter. Second quarter, they really took command of the game, and really it didn't look back. They were in command really the rest of the game. The only thing I didn't like about it is LeBron had to play in the 4th quarter. I was kind of hoping the Cavs wouldn't have to do that, but it was close enough in the game where Ty Lue felt like, yeah, I better make sure we lock this one up. So James came back in and helped to finish off the game. Kevin Love was your leading scorer tonight. He had 28 points, including 6 3-pointers. He added 5 rebounds. James had 26 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds, just continuing to place at an MVP level going forward. Carroll says, and I agree with you, I don't think it matters 3rd seed or 4th seed for the Cavs. Carroll, honestly, I don't either, because you're going to have to play generally those same teams anyway. So it's the difference between playing, let's say, Indiana in the first round as opposed to like Miami. I mean, does it really make a big difference? I'd argue probably not. Right now Miami is your 6th seed, but they're neck and neck with Milwaukee. So you could be playing, if you're the 3 seed, you could be playing the Heat, you could be playing the Bucks. I don't think it really matters. You're going to have to, I mean, at some point you've got to beat the Celtics probably, and certainly going to have to beat the Raptors. So, I mean, does it really matter when you play them? Not really. So I would agree with that. The Cavs got double-figure scoring tonight from the bench. J.R. Smith, I'm encouraged that this was a good J.R. game, and we're seeing him start to play better, I think, over the last couple of weeks. He hit 4 threes tonight. He had 16 points. Jordan Clarkson also had 16 off the bench. Larry Nance Jr. had 10 points. He also had 6 rebounds. Tristan Thompson had 5 rebounds off the bench. But more importantly, I just think when, the Cavs now have just about everybody back from injury. The only player they don't have back right now is Rodney Hood, but I think there's a chance he may play on Wednesday. But they had George Hill was back tonight. He played 20 minutes, scored 5 points, dished out 4 assists. Jose Calderon was back in 20 minutes. He gets 3 points and 3 rebounds. I mean, what you need is these guys for the playoffs, and you want to have the complete roster available, and I think the Cavs are going to be healthy completely when we get to Saturday or Sunday, whenever the playoffs start. So to me, that's an important thing. Now, you may not have heard, we did post this here on Facebook, and it's also at WKYC.com. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski and Dave McMenamin, the Cavaliers are going to have a familiar face on the bench when we start the playoffs, and that's Kendrick Perkins. Perkins, you may recall, played with the Cavaliers in the stretch run of the 2015 season, probably was best known, and you can find it anywhere on social media because I saw a bunch of come up with my Twitter feed. Remember that kind of that forearm shiver he gave to Jay Crowder in the playoffs against the Celtics, that first round series that was just a grinder, the one that Kevin Love got hurt in. But Perkins was part of the Cavs team that had that first run to the finals in 2015 since LeBron came back. he was signed in September of 2017 to be on this year's team. Let's be honest, at that point the Cavs had, Dwayne Wade here, they had Derrick Rose here, they had Jay Crowder here, they had Isaiah Thomas in the fold, and there just wasn't really a spot for Perkins then. So Perk went down, he played for the Canton Charge for about 27 games, I believe, and then in February kind of stepped aside, and I think he probably was told, hey, look, we're going to give you a call in April if we need you, and the Cavs want to have that veteran presence. I mean, I don't even know if Kendrick Perkins, short of a blowout game or a specialized situation, is going to see much action out there. His purpose is really to be a resource to the younger guys who are going to get their first playoff appearance on the bench. And I'm talking about guys like, Larry Nance Jr. and Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, those guys who came aboard, during that wild trade deadline period in late January and early February. That's what Kendrick Perkins is going to really be there for, to be a resource, to be somebody to lean on, somebody that when LeBron James speaks, he'll make sure that it's listened to. Anthony says we don't need Perkins. Well, Anthony, he's not going to be a guy that is going to be in the rotation. That's not what his value is. His value is really, it's almost like another coach. I hope he doesn't play. I don't think he's going to play. He'll play if there's a blowout, or if you're playing against another team's big man and you need, you're playing against the Wizards, let's say, which I don't think the Cavs are going to play them, but if you're playing against the Wizards or you're playing against the Raptors, against Valanciunas, and you need somebody to go in there and rough them up a little bit, and you got 6 fouls to play with, that's why you would play him. I don't think he's not going to be in the rotation. I can guarantee you that. They have right now, if you think about the Cavs, they're having a hard enough time trying to get a rotation with Tristan Thompson and Larry Nance Jr. Both guys are on the bench, and Nance played 19 minutes tonight. Thompson played 9. So I mean, that's kind of where I would put that. It's almost like you had an assistant coach on the bench. Think about the role. Jimmy Donovan calls it the ring bearer. It's like a ring, the Richard Jefferson or James Jones role, Sean Marion, that kind of thing. So again, the Cavs will come back home tonight. They'll practice tomorrow, and then wrap up the regular season on Fan Appreciation Night on Wednesday. And if you're going down there, there's always a lot of things giving away on Fan Appreciation Night. So I hope if you have the tickets, go down there and enjoy. Now, meanwhile, while the Cavs were doing their thing in New York, the Indians started up their series with the Detroit Tigers tonight at Progressive Field. And another game where the Indians, frankly, they didn't get their first hit until the 5th inning. And, on a cold night, the cold late evening, the bats certainly were not fired up, but Corey Kluber was, and Kluber struck out 13, pitched 8 dominant innings, turned it over to Andrew Miller. Indians ended up winning 2-0. In that 5th inning, they finally got to Francisco Liriano, a 2-run homer by Bradley Zimmer, the only scoring of the game. That's exactly kind of what we saw the other night with Yan Gomes. I mean, that was the only run, basically the only runs the Indians had on Sunday, short of the run they scratched home in the 8th. It was like that tonight, just a 2-run homer in the 5th, and the pitching staff made it stand. And I mean, Kluber, looking at his line score tonight, he had 10 strikeouts, I think, when the 5th inning began. That's how dominant he was early. He went 8 innings, only allowed 2 hits and 1 walk, struck out 13. His ERA is at 1.57 through 3 starts. I mean, he was just tremendous. The offense mustered 4 hits tonight for the Indians. That was all. But, again, you're able to take advantage when you get a guy on base, and that's what Zimmer was able to do. And the Indians get the victory. And, now they're back to even now at 5-5. They've won 3 of their first 4 on this homestand. Carroll says, no worries, the Tribe's got a long way to go. Yeah, it is. I mean, if you watched Jim Donovan and I earlier tonight on the post game, until the weather gets some kind of consistency in terms of warmth and you start playing, 50, 60-degree games over and over again, sometimes I really think for hitters who have been playing in Arizona, who spent like 8 weeks in Arizona, and a lot of times in the off season they live in warmer conditions. Come back up here to Cleveland, it's absolutely frigid, and sometimes it just takes the offense a while to heat up. I'm not that worried about it. we'll wait and see how it goes. But the most important thing tonight is, they were able to get Corey Kluber enough runs to win. He goes out and he does his thing, pitching in place of Josh Tomlin, who had that horrible outing in Los Angeles as the road trip was coming to an end last week. He complained of some back soreness, so they decided to skip a day with Tomlin and start Kluber this evening, and it obviously worked out very well. But it looks like Tomlin's going to be okay to make the start tomorrow when the series continues with Detroit. So that's the story for tonight. This is how these are these kinds of fun nights to do when you have an Indians victory and a Cavs victory at the same time. Again, try back at it tomorrow at 6:10 with the Tigers, and then the Cavs will wrap up the regular season on Wednesday against the New York Knicks. Jim Donovan of all your highlights coming up, Channel 3 News at 11, so make sure you check that. Plus, hey, look, it's getting warmer outside later this week, as Betsy Kling will have the weather forecast for you, so you don't want to miss that as well. All right, again, Indians win 2-0. Cavs a winner over the Knicks. I'm Dave DeNatale. Thanks for watching WKYC's Facebook Live.